Once a year, about 100 kilometers away from Nigeria's financial nerve center, tradition arrives like royalty from across the world. At Ojude Oba Festival, tradition doesn't arrive quietly. And when home calls, money flows. It parades through Ijebu-Ode with velvet horses, local attires, ancestral beads, and booming drums. It is FCMB reporting over 2 billion naira in card transactions during the 2023 Ojude Oba period alone. It is MTN activating over 10,000 new SIM cards via pop-up kiosks on the festival ground and 2,500 points of sale, recording more than 150,000 transactions in just 4 days across the town. For many women vendors too, this festival isn't just cultural, it is commercial. We join the 200,000 people on the streets of Ijebu-Ode celebrating culture to experience the digital infrastructure powering this multi-billion naira festival.
Sherry ọdún yìí in fact ó yàtọ̀ gan ní gbogbo ọdún tàti máa ṣe látijọ́ tó ti bí mi sáyé ó yàtọ̀ gan. Ó jẹ́ first tó jẹ́ pé àrírú èrò pọ̀ tó yìí in fact ó wà credible. Gbogbo ẹ̀ náà ni à ń gbà torí pé àwọn èèyàn ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wọn ò ní cash. Ẹlòmíì fẹ́ ohun kan ní cash bọ̀ kò sí cash. Àdẹ̀ ń gba transfer torí pé fẹ́ kí gbogbo inú àwọn èèyàn kí inú wọn dùn. Nítorí mo ń gba transfer, mo ń gba ATM, tó ẹni tó bá ní ATM kó mo ẹni tó bá dẹ̀ mú cash náà wá. Màá ṣe kò sẹ́ni tó fẹ́ rajà lọ́dọ̀ mi tí ò ní àǹfààní láti rajà lọ́wọ́ mi.
A street booker like Mama Tunde will see sale move from 50,000 naira to 500,000 naira or 1 million naira. Street vendors will make between 20,000 naira to 100,000 naira. Art and craft makers will sell pieces worth at least 400,000 naira, and informal catering vendors will make about 1 million from each event order they get from the Egbers or noble family groups. But beneath the regal glamour is a scramble for signal. At Ojude Oba, culture and commerce meet, but the connection doesn't always hold, and even royalty can't guarantee signal.
In fact, kò easy rárá torí network yẹn ó hard gan. Tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ tí ó bá ti zero, a máa ṣe network tó bá mú ATM, a máa ṣe fún ọwọ́rọ́wọ́ tó yẹ kó network yẹn máa balance. But nísìnyí in fact ẹlòmíì gan lè lo 30 minutes tó máa kọjá ìjọ́ tèrè, a máa bẹ̀ wọ́n ní ẹjọ́ tèrè Ọlọ́run network ní kì í ṣẹjọ́ wa. Ẹlòmíì kẹ́ bá ṣe transfer àti ní rí owó ẹ̀ network yẹn slow for now, ó slow gan.
Payment has been really rough. We've got a lot of network issues. The POSs aren't working. So we basically had to rely on cash payment, which made it a bit difficult.
Rural mobile coverage in Ogun State lags urban centers by over 25%. POS failure rates at festivals like Ojude Oba spike by as much as 40%, according to local telcos. Without reliable signals and connection, DPI isn't inclusion, it's frustration.
Those in the rural areas, and it's predominantly rural areas, not always the case, because there are areas in Lagos which are also underserved and unserved. And what do I mean by underserved? Where you only have one operator operating in that area, providing connectivity, you have no alternatives, is underserved, because we have ideally a competitive market, and we've had one for 22 years now. So it shouldn't just be one operator. You have to question why it's just one operator there. When it's unserved, that means there's no one there. There's no infrastructure. Agege is a good example. Now in Agege, you don't have many operators, or you probably have one that's dominant because of affordability. So the players are not meeting where the market is. And why are they not doing it? Because cost of infrastructure is so high. So that you're never going to get financial inclusion in its truest sense that way. You could have the supply of, and I don't want to mention product names, but you could have service providers that are trying to push their payment services and platforms there. But if it doesn't work because the fundamentals are not there, then there's no usage of those platforms. So they might claim coverage, but usage, and therefore the usage gap is pretty wide. Then it shows you if it's increasing as you put in more coverage, then it shows you that people are not, they're not aware that it's available, or they couldn't, even if they were aware, because they don't have access, whether it's lack of internet or there's no options of internet access. Meaningful connectivity I'm talking about, not just you just have a connection, because having a connection is just giving you, sorry, I'll use a technical term now, narrow band speed, which means that it's only giving you 4.8 kilobits per second, 9.6 kilobits per second. That's not meaningful. We're looking at 3 megabits per second. We need higher speeds. But if the infrastructure is not there, there's no investment, you're not going to get that. So basically, yes, there's a connection, but it's not meaningful to you because you can't use the platforms.
Less than 100 kilometers from Ijebu-Ode is Ogun State capital, Abeokuta. A 7-minute drive away from the popular Olumo Rock is Nigeria's biggest tie and dye market, which is also home to the largest Adire market in West Africa. At Kemta, we met some women who are adapting.
Kò sí ọ̀nà tó kì í fi ń sanwó fún wa. Tẹ́lómi bá ní catch ó máa fún wa. But transfer ló máa ń pọ̀. Because kì í ṣe pé àwa rí ara wa nìkan ló wà. Like bí irú èmi báyìí nísìn. Àìmọ̀ customer ni mo ní. Mo ní Imo State. Mo ní Kwara káàkiri. So ẹlòmíì mi ò fojú rí. Mo ní ẹnìkan ó wà ní Ìsẹ́yìn. Mo dẹ̀ nẹ́nìkan ó wà l'Ákúrẹ́. Church member mi ló mú wá fún mi. So mo máa ṣiṣẹ́ fún. Mo ti ṣiṣẹ́ for the past 4 years. Mi ò mọ ojú yẹn. I dem patronize ara wa. Ẹlòmíì máa ṣe transfer sí wa. Alóhun ti ṣe o. Àwọn onírà láti ń bí báyìí. Ó máa dá wa láti at times. Ọmọ máa lọ bank. Pé kí bank bá wa confirm. Ẹnìyẹn náà máa pè. Bẹ́ẹ̀ tí ẹlòmíì wà ó máa ń ṣe fake alert. Ó lè má ti lówó yẹn lọ́wọ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ tí ọjà yẹn ó fẹ́ gbà ní kíákíá. Ó lè lóhun ti sẹ́ndì owó lọ́gẹ́dọ́gọ́ ọmọ máa kọyìn láyà sókè. Okay, ẹ̀yin á fi gbàgbọ́ kó ọjà yẹn fún. Ẹ lè má rí owó yẹn for past a month. Tí network bá dorí rú, tá bá ṣerú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ fẹ́ nìyẹn. Communication no matter. Kíní tó ṣe yìí kò wọlé, kóhun náà sọ òtítọ́. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹ̀yin ṣe gbọ́kànlé, bóyá ó ṣe, bóyá kò ṣe, bẹ́ẹ̀ tó bá wá kọ̀ tó ní bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́. Àwa nígbàgbọ́ kan nínú kíní kan. Like my own. Tó bá ṣe fún mi. Mo ní ìgbàgbọ́ wípé iṣẹ́ yìí kì í ṣe iṣẹ́ ordinary. Kì í ṣe iṣẹ́ ordinary, it's a spirit work. Tó bá tí ẹ̀kan bá ṣe báyìí pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ tó bá dẹ̀yìn báyìí fún ọ̀nà tó máa báyọ̀ sẹ́ni yẹn ó máa le. Network is like afẹ́fẹ́. So ìgbà míì a máa ní difficulties gan. A lè ṣe transfer, a lè fẹ́ wo nǹkan kan lórí WhatsApp, ó kọ̀ díjú pa. Ibi tẹ́ dúró sí, ibi tí mo máa ń jókòó sí tẹ́lẹ̀ nìyẹn lẹ́yìn grieving. Mo lè jókòó síbẹ̀ for an hour kí n má rí service. Tí n bá dìde tí n bá débi tí gẹ́yìn wà, a dẹ̀ connect. Mo lè tún kú ọ̀bẹ kí n tún débẹ̀ yẹn kó tún lọ. Tí n bá wà lójú kan tí mo tún yí ipò, a tún connect. So bí afẹ́fẹ́ tó jẹ́, ó máa fún wa ní difficulties ìgbà míì free. Kó lóṣù lórí toilet tó bá connect, ó lè wọlé.
Switching telco services, checking balances manually.
Tí network bá dáa, a ní POS. So ẹni yẹn lè lo card àbí kó fún wa ní cash. Network náà la máa ní kó bá ṣe kó lè máa kó dáa ká lè máa tí ò ní sí issue pé network kò sí lẹ́ni network kò sí lọ́la. Kó tá máa gbà wọ́n níyànjú pé kó bá wa ṣe.
But others are giving up.
There was a time somebody told me that this particular telecommunication, their data rate is good, this and that, and I bought the SIM. Out of frustration, I had to fling that SIM away because I didn't get 1 day of value for that SIM card.
Women are 2 times likely to distrust digital finance after a failed transfer. That's not tech aversion, that's pattern recognition. A system that fails most often fails them.
Then there's less complaints and disputes. If I use a machine, sometimes the person's card, I might have card issuer problems. Sometimes the receiver's bank or the recipient bank is bad, or my own particular bank that wants to receive. There's a lot of hassle that goes into POS, but transfer is the best so far. There was one that happened recently. The person was debited, but was not credited. And she insisted that I've been debited. I said, okay, ma, I'll keep your package here with me. When I receive the payment, I'm going to give it back. Because sometimes people, they will do the transfer, truly. But on their way out, they'll get credited back. That's a reversal. They'll get a reversal. But in their own wickedness, they'll take the money and your own goods. And that's a loss on my part.
If DPI is the road to financial empowerment, then a reliable and stable network is the tarmac. Without it, women like those at Ojudioba and Kemta, Itoku at the rare markets are still not on the map. All the fancy digital financial services and products will not see utility here. Regulations must drive investment in DPI infrastructure. Policy must recognize the following: cultural timing, like festivals and market days, load balancing in rural telco infrastructure, and gendered trust metric.
Financial inclusion is meant to be driven by the telcos. And I say that not because I'm from the telco space, but from the reality of the problem. The problem is that the investments for connectivity are predominantly in Nigeria done by the MNOs, the mobile network operators. And the mobile network operators will deem it fit where they put the infrastructure. And the infrastructure is fundamentally is the base station. If a base station is not located in a certain area, then you don't have connectivity. Because in Nigeria, we are a mobile broadband country. We're not a fixed broadband country. The difference is that we totally rely on a mobile device like you are right now. But you're in a building, you should actually have fiber. Or if you're from the old school, copper. And you should have speeds that are equivalent or even faster than the speeds you're getting on your mobile device.
Experts say that DPIs must come with reliability guarantees, especially for rural zone and low literacy users.
Our journey in this episode to Ojudioba and Kemta at the rare market, Itoku, have exposed how connectivity gaps and cultural realities shape digital trust, and ultimately how women at the fringes are adapting even when they are not on the map.
Can DPIs truly work for all if it doesn't work when it matters most? DPIs are not just softwares. DPIs are the quiet promise that when a woman clicks send, the money lands. We are talking connection, safety, and speed.
This story is supported by the Center for Communication and Social Impact. Special thanks to all the women who let us into their businesses, their systems, and their strengths. It's the second story in a 4-part journey.